Hello and welcome. This is Science Through a Theoretical Lens by Erica Anderson. Science through an integrated STEM approach. One way to improve students' motivation in science is through an integrated STEM approach. It may be difficult for schools to restructure their curriculum to fit an integrated approach. However, the benefits are exponential. Sanders, 2012. There are many theories that can support this approach, like pedagogy, andragogy, multiple intelligence, social learning, and exchange theory. Each one of these theories will provide a different instructional strategy that allows us to look at STEM through multiple dimensions, including students looking at STEM through multiple dimensions. The first theory we're going to talk about is pedagogy theory. It refers to the method of teachers teaching in theory and practice. It's more teacher-centered. One strategy is presenting formal style notes through PowerPoint or slides while students take handwritten notes. And another strategy could be multiple choice exams. No real freedom for the students to explore their own knowledge, but just picking the correct answer and memorization. And you got to be very careful when considering pedagogy because it's an active style of learning and it can help them develop higher order thinking skills. There are four common forms of pedagogy. There's cooperative learning, which involves students working in groups to accomplish learning goals. Lecture tutorials that are short worksheets that students complete in class to make lecture more interactive. They are designed specifically to address misconceptions and other topics with which students have difficulties in. So these are ways to engage your students through pedagogical theory. Another one to discuss is andragogy. Uh, it literally translates to art and science of educating adults. However, it's more learner centered. So the adults learn from the students. Some didactic strategies are case studies and self-evaluation, so having the students do more of the exploring and reflecting on what they've learned. And then two ways to engage the students through andragogical theory is gallery walkthroughs, where the students work together to look at pieces that the class has designed on a specific topic, or interactive lecture demonstrations. And this is very key in STEM classrooms because it engages students in activities that confront their prior understanding of a core concept. The activity can be a classroom experiment, a survey, or a simulation, and an analysis of secondary data. So very useful in STEM classrooms. Another theory to discuss is multiple intelligence theory. And basically, just as it sounds, we all have multiple intelligence. And it suggests that we all learn, but develop different capacities and intelligences, which is changed through learning in schools, and it can nurture the mind. So we all have a concept of different aspects in our minds already. But when we go to school or when we experience them out in nature or in the real world, we start to organize them differently and think of them in different respects. Some didactic strategies that are useful are linguistic strategy and bodily kinesthetic strategy. So with linguistic strategy, it's listening to the students tell a story and then translating it into writing. So it goes to the two ways in which we can engage, which is writing scripts, making videos, and designing videos. Ties into different parts of a student's mind. Not everybody is going to be analytical, but not everybody is going to be artsy. This allows to balance both sides of intelligence. And then another didactic strategy is bodily kinesthetic strategy. So being aware of the body's motions and physically getting into an activity. Social learning theory. This is a theory that suggests that social behavior is learned by observing and imitating the behaviors of others. Now, motivation is required in order to do anything. So that's why I have it in two ways to engage, but it could also go in didactic strategies. Our motivation comes from seeing someone else be rewarded or punished for something they have done. So it goes off of that social learning aspect. This can motivate us to do or not do the same thing that that student did. Okay. Another didactic strategies that we can discuss are consistent routines. Students and many adults enjoy routines. They know what to expect and are less likely to feel thrown off if everything is consistent. Following that are classroom rules. Okay, with routines there should be rules, regulations. If somebody does something bad, it should be bad for everybody. If somebody does something good, it should be good for everybody. There, it should be very black and white. There should be no fine line for any student. And another way to engage are hand signals to gain student attention. So students often get very rowdy, and an easy way to get their attention is through a hand signal or some type of signal for them to motion back to the teacher, whether that is clapping and they repeat, or some type of phrase that they say, or if the teacher just has a specific movement or action or sound that he, she, or they make that gets the student's attention back to them. They'll see other students learn that, okay, that means look at the teacher, and it can be adapted. The last theory that we're going to discuss is exchange theory. The theory is based on the relationship between two people is created through a process of whether it benefits both people. Whenever somebody gets into a relationship, you always think, okay, what am I going to get out of this? Regardless of whether you intend to think that, every human does it. And so do our students. So it's important to make sure that they are interested in the lesson and that they understand that there are benefits to learning. Because unfortunately, not enough students in our world and in our lives understand the importance of learning. So one didactic strategy is relating the lesson to students' interests. Students will get very bored quickly if a teacher is just statically going through a PowerPoint that has no relation to them or any connection to them. They won't see any benefit to their lives directly. Another didactic strategy is the use of incentives. Students love incentives. When they do something good, they like to be praised or to get something. Utilize it, incentivize them to learn, incentivize them to observe and explore. Now, in order to implement these strategies, you have to engage the students. So two ways I recommend you do that is compromise with the students. If you do this, then I'll do this. Or if you guys play a Kahoot, then I will play too. If you beat me, then this will happen. Some ways to engage the students and want them to play or learn um, and thrive. And then last but not least, a really important one that I feel as though a lot of teachers forget is encouragement. So encouragement in a student's life is crucial. A lot of them may not get it at home, and it's definitely one way to engage them. If you continue to tell a student, wow, you're doing great, or you hand back a paper where they got, a 90. This is awesome. This is what I want to see more of. I knew you could do it. Encouraging them to keep moving forward will help keep their engagement and they'll want to learn more, not only for themselves, but to make you proud. And then, all in all, the conclusion that I came up with was students learn through many different ways. And that's very true, whether it's through their real world or through school. And they're not really sure how to organize it all. So they base it off others or things that they already know. All students do not learn the same, and that is why it's important to understand your students' learning styles and interests. Throughout this presentation, I have provided only some strategies to assist in students' diverse learning styles. It all starts by getting to know your students and understanding their interests, likes, and dislikes. Make the lesson interactive and accommodating to what they find interesting. After reflecting on the different processes, I realized it all starts with the students to determine what works best for them. We have to know them, and then us as teachers can build off of what works for them into our lessons, therefore making it more integrated in the realm of STEM. Thank you, and here are my references.